Hi YouTubers, welcome to Ask Niler. Now many of you know in this segment, this is where you ask me a question and I do my very best to answer your question or fulfill your request. Now in the past, many of you have asked questions and requested certain videos, but I haven't been able to get to them because my computer crashed and I no longer have the list of all those requests. So if you would just kindly send me a message below. So now I do have a few questions that were asked recently, so I'm going to grab one. Now this particular question comes from my viewer Incognito. Have you thought about making a makeup tote from a placemat? I have been hearing about them, but haven't a clue on how to make those corners. Thank you Incognito for your question, and it's a very good question. If many of you know the actual placemats that you have on your table where your dishes sit on, those are nice quilted placemats. And you can do many favorite crafts out of those things. Well, that's what she's talking about. Many people are taking those placemats and turning them into really cute makeup cases. So that's what we're going to do in this video. I'm going to use, though, existing items that I already have in my possession. You know I like to recycle. So if you watch my video where I made the pajama pant, this is the leftover fabric. So I'm going to use this fabric along with some scrap pieces of batting, and of course a zipper. And these are all the things that you're going to need. So let's get started. To make the makeup bag, and what I did is I just cut a piece that was 12 by 18. I sandwiched in between the two pieces a piece of batting that was larger than my fabric. And what I'm going to do now, I started a little bit just to give you an idea of what I'm doing. I'm going to sew just regular basting stitches across here to quilt it, and I'll go back and forth until I get it to where I want it nice and quilted with all three of those pieces together. And I'm doing this so I don't have to go out and buy a placemat. I've already got the fabric, so I'm just going to turn it into one. So I'm going to go ahead and quilt all this, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how we do the bag. Now here it is finished. I did this rather quickly. As you can see, it's not even straight, and that's what I love about it. I love sewing that's just carefree. You don't have to do any measuring, you just sew. So now I'm going to cut out the base of the bag, which is the placemat, and I'm just actually cutting the excess batting off, and you'll just cut this off all the way around. Now we're going to start with making the zipper, but the first thing you want to decide is which side you want, your right and your wrong. And as you see on my wrong side, some of the fabric got a little puckered here. That's fine. So I'm going to put this on the inside, and this is going to be my right side. Now you're going to find a zipper, and as you see, I have a ton of zippers. So I want this to be kind of fun, so I'm not matching it up exact. I'm going to actually use this pretty green zipper, so that way it kind of stands out. So now that I've got my zipper, you can put the zipper in one of two ways. Since this is our right side, let's see, if we were to fold it up like this, the zipper is going to come in here at the top, and you want this to be on the zipper. So if you had a placemat, you could just sew it straight down like this without having to do any turning. But since we don't have a placemat, you can either turn it under one, or you can just simply turn it on the wrong side and stitch it down. And what I like to do is, because my zipper is a lot longer than my bag, and that's really what you want, give you room to play with, I'm going to take my zipper and I'm going to lay it down with the right side down and the right side facing the right side. And I'm going to extend my zipper out a little bit. So I'm just going to put a pin here just so you can see what I'm talking about once I sew this. So now that that's pinned in place, this is what it would look like if it was sewn. It would flip over on the right side, and there the zipper would be sewn in. First, we're going to go ahead and sew our zipper in from one end to the other and back stitch at each end. Now that the zipper has been sewn in, if you notice, I didn't sew close to the zipper because I want a wide opening for the zipper. So now what I'm going to do is, you can either press this if you like, but I'm just going to turn this down and then top stitch on top of what I just sewed. When doing the top stitch, I like to change to the regular foot. Even though the zipper is there, it should be okay to ride just beside it. So I'm using a very loose stitch, just the top stitch. So now that portion is top stitched down. So now you want to take the bag and flip it with right sides together like this, because now we need to sew the other side of the zipper. And you're going to pretty much do the same thing, but make sure your sides match up because you are working with the zipper sticking out on the end. And again, if you want to, you can just pin it right here in place. And you want to go ahead and sew that down. Now, I've put my regular foot back on. You notice the last time when we sewed with the zipper foot, but I wanted you to see how you could sew this with a regular foot because you're sewing so far away from the zipper. So I'm just going to put it under there, and you can see you just sew right on top of it. So technically, no zipper foot is needed on this project. That side of the bag is sewn in. You want to take the zipper bag and just turn it on the right side. And you see when you turn on the right side, you can see your zipper has been inserted. So you want to unzip it. And then you want to do a top stitch on this side just as you did the other side. Once the top stitching is done, you just zip the zipper back up. And there you have your zipper inserted into your bag. And like I said, it's not perfectly straight, but that's okay because nobody's really going to see that. So now take the whole bag and turn it on the wrong side again, because now we need to stitch our bag up. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the zipper, make sure the zipper is at the very center. I'm going to put a pin here to make sure the zipper stays centered at the top and it doesn't roll to one side or the other. So again, just make sure the zipper stays folded over. Make sure at the top and the bottom of your zipper bag, make sure you back stitch really good because these are the areas that are going to take the most tension and stress. So you want these places to stay in place and not come apart. Now I've sewed up one side that doesn't have the zipper pull. On the side that has the zipper pull, you want to go ahead and open up that side just a little bit, maybe about a quarter of a way or halfway down. And then you want to take the zipper and fold it in. And then you're going to stitch that side down as well. So you want to make sure your zipper is not closed when you do this. So now that the edges have been sewn, or the sides have been sewn, you're going to go ahead now and just cut off the extra fabric. Now if you like, you can zigzag these ends to keep them closed, or you can serge them, or you can leave them raw because it's the inside. I'm going to zigzag mine just to make sure they stay in place. Now I want you to see the benefits of doing a zigzag stitch. As you can see, it seals up the ends. If you don't do a zigzag stitch, so you got all the opening there for fraying. So sealing up the edges makes it look nice and finished on the inside. So go ahead and finish the other side and we'll come back and I'll show you how to make your bag fuller at the bottom. Now the edges, both of the edges have been finished. I'm going to go ahead and turn the bag even though we're not done. If you want to leave it like this, you can go ahead and turn it. Kind of poke your thumb into the corners and turn it and poke it in really good, and then turn your bag. And if you decide to do that, then what you have is a flat bag. You don't have a nice and tailored bag. So if you zip this up, so you can leave it like this. What you have is a regular flat bag, but we're going to make our bag a little fuller. So turn it back on the other side and poke those corners back out. Very important that you do that. Now once the corners are poked out, now you have to decide how wide you want the side and the depth of the bag to be. And what I mean by that, you're going to take the bag and you're going to line up the bottom with the side like this so that you got the point there. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be sewing straight across. Now, however wide you make this bag, so let me show you what I mean. If you want a 1-inch wide bag, then you would sew it down here at the bottom. And that will give you a 1-inch crease on the bottom. If you want 2 inches and so on. So I'm going to make about 3.5 inches is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to put a pin at my 3.5 inch mark there. And I'm going to put a pin at the 1 inch, or the beginning of the 1 inch right there. And I'm going to sew from one side to the other. Now if that's a little complicated for you to sew with the pins, you can take a pencil or a pen and you can just kind of draw your line across to let you know where you're going to sew. And I'm going to go ahead and just sew across here, and you'll do the same thing on both sides. Making sure to backstitch very good at the points here, because that's where the opening is going to be, and you don't want to lose your products from inside of your bag. Now both of those ends have been done, so what you want to do is take your scissors and cut it off, leaving about 1/4 inch seam allowance, just kind of like we did on the sides. So now you want to zigzag these edges. So now that we've done the edges of the bag and we've done the finishing, and one of the reasons I like to do the finishing, because I like to throw my bag in the wash, and when you throw it in the wash you don't have all that unraveling by finishing off the edges, and you just simply turn your bag and just kind of shape up the bottom a little bit. That's what I like to do with the edges. And there you have a pleated bottom bag, and when you zip it up, now your bag stands up. So, Incognito, what'd you think? Didn't they turn out rather cute? Not only did I make the large one, but I went back and made a medium-sized one and a teeny-weeny small one that you can kind of just throw in your bag. So these turned out really cute, and you know what? These make great gifts. So I hope you guys try this, and I hope it answers your question, Incognito. And I hope that you make a ton of these for yourself and your family and friends. So you guys, get to sewing, and I hope that you share your projects with me. Until next time, happy sewing!